Welcome to the Plot Thickens, the unofficial version, the stories that happen while stories are happening.
Welcome to the Plot Thickens, the unofficial version. I'm Jan Falconer. I'm an author, a consultant, and I'm a grandmother. And this is the Plot Thickens, the unofficial version. When the hands are busy. Somewhere in Dumfries, there is a set of car keys. I know this because I had them. I also know that I put them somewhere perfectly safe. Unfortunately, the sensible place and I no longer are in speaking terms. Normally, I'm very good with my car keys. They have a place. I know where they are, and this week I've been moving at such a fast pace that I suspect I came in, I put them down, immediately moved on to whatever needed to be doing next. Fortunately, I have a spare key, so the original pair may turn up, and probably when I'm looking for something completely different. And that, in many ways, has been my week. I've painted, I've cleared rubbish, I've emptied and sorted things, I've attacked the shed, I've sorted out the greenhouse, I've put in a new garden. I've worked outside when the weather has allowed it, and inside when it didn't. And I've started packing the car, ready to travel back to Orkney. The lawn, still waiting. Some windowsills, still waiting. There's a bedroom looking at me rather forlornly and accusingly. And the car is partly packed, and it's locked at the moment. Oh, for goodness sake, Jan. Well, the strange thing is, I really love this sort of physical work. Give me a paintbrush, gardening tools, or something that needs sorting, and I'll get stuck in. I work at it at a frenetic pace once I start. I like seeing something change in front of me. I've been creating a beautiful room. I've been getting outside and working in the garden, even clearing a shed. And even clearing a shed has a certain satisfaction once you can finally see the floor again. I've decorated many homes over the years. My own, my family's, my in-laws, my outlaws, you name it, I've decorated it. And I still love it. Mind you, whilst I am fit, I'm not as young as I used to be. I exercise daily, and that includes walking. I garden, and there is exercising. Then there is lifting boxes, shifting things, bending, stretching, climbing up into the loft, climbing up and stretching to paint, using muscles that have apparently been waiting patiently for an invitation. Oh, goodness me. And preparation is everything in decorating. The painting is almost the easy bit. Everything else that comes before it, that is the challenge. Cleaning, moving, emptying, sorting, getting all the tools out, putting all the tools back, and of course, discovering something else that needs doing while you're halfway through the first thing. I've been working until ridiculous hours. One night, I didn't finish sorting the cupboards and cleaning until 5 to midnight. And yet, while all this very visible work has been going on, something else has been happening. I've been writing. Well, not necessarily sitting at the computer writing. And that's the interesting bit. Because at the same time, as I've been painting, as I've been gardening, as I've been cleaning things out, I've been working intensely on a 5-book novel series. 5 books! Ah! Oh my goodness, I must be mad. Characters have been developing. Timelines have been moving around. I've sorted the chronology, I hope, relationships, stories, arcs, and stretch from one book to the other. It's so fun. And one small decision about a character can suddenly ripple through 3 books, and after something I thought I'd already sorted. It's really strange, but it's so rewarding. I've also been developing a workshop idea. I've been preparing for the podcast, keeping up with my morning routine on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok clips. Now, it sounds as though all those things should be competing with one another, but that's what I would have thought. But I'm beginning to wonder if they're not, because something rather odd has been happening while I work. My hands are busy. My imagination isn't. I can be painting a wall and suddenly a character moves. I can be sorting the shed and a problem in one of the novels begins to untangle itself. I'm gardening and a conversation appears. Not necessarily the whole scene. Sometimes it's just a line. Or suddenly I understand why somebody has behaved in a particular way. Something that wasn't quite working simply falls into place. I don't sit down and demand that it happen. No. It just does. And then there was the granola. This may have been the moment when I realized quite how thin the line between the life I'm actually living and my imaginary one in my head had become. I was working on a scene set in Sao Paulo. At the time, I was making granola. Not metaphorical granola, actual granola. Anyone who knows me knows I make my own granola. There I was in my kitchen, physically making it while talking. There I was in my kitchen, physically making it while talking through what was happening in the fictional scene thousands of miles away. An ingredient came into the scene. I added it to my granola. Something else went in, and it went at my end too. And at some point I thought, hang on a minute. I'm making granola in the story while I'm making granola in the kitchen, in my kitchen. I hadn't planned this as some marvelous creative technique, and I hadn't thought, oh, today I shall combine culinary activity with novel development. I was making granola. The characters came along for the ride. And I think that's when I started noticing what had actually been happening all week. The physical work wasn't taking me away from my creative work. Somehow it was making room for it. Perhaps my imagination likes me occupied. Give the rest of me something practical to do, and it appears to say, excellent, she's busy. We can now get on with this. Now, I'm not suggesting to everyone else to rush out, buy a tin of paint and expect 5 novels to appear. This is simply something I've noticed about me. I enjoy physical work. I enjoy the feeling of using my body and seeing something tangible at the end of it. But apparently, when I'm concentrating on a physical job in front of me, another part of my mind is quite happy wandering off somewhere else. Sometimes to Orkney, sometimes to Edinburgh, sometimes to London, to Rickmansworth, Hertfordshire, sometimes to Sao Paulo, and occasionally back to Dumfries to remind me that I haven't finished the lawn. There has been another slightly unexpected discovery this week too. The Plot Thickens. Stories are everywhere. From 2 weeks ago. It went out into the world and initially did very little. That's all right by me. I don't write these columns or make these videos because I'm chasing the magical viral moment. Gosh, I don't need a disease. I put them there because somebody might find something in them. Then I began tidying things up. I like to tidy things up. I put in links, supporting materials, little clips from longer episodes, and people started finding the clips. I couldn't believe it. And then something interesting happened. They went backwards. Yes, backwards. The little clips became doors into my longer stories, and the views on the full episodes are beginning to slowly climb. And along came Bill, behind the camera frame, has reinforced that for me. I put the longer piece out first, and then I created the smaller pieces around it. But they don't necessarily travel in the order I imagined they might. You see, apparently stories can find their readers backwards. And being me, I rather like that. Again, I'm not pretending I've discovered the secret of the internet. Good grief, there are quite enough people on the internet promising that already. I've simply found a process I enjoy, and I'm watching what happens. Which brings me back to this week, because I could look around and see an extraordinary collection of completely unrelated things. Tools, paint, a shed, a greenhouse, a garden, a half-packed car, a workshop, a podcast, social media clips, 5 novels, granola, and one missing set of car keys. On the surface, none of it appears to belong together, but perhaps that's what I've noticed. For me, it does. The physical work gives my hands something to do, and you can see they're all over the place, right? The creative work gives my imagination somewhere to go. One doesn't seem to shut down the other. They move alongside each other, and every now and again, they cross over completely. Usually when I'm making granola. Of course, none of this changes the fact there are still things to do. That bedroom isn't painted. The windowsills haven't all been done. The lawn needs finishing. I'll do that tomorrow morning, weather permitting. The car isn't completely packed, and that will be done tomorrow morning, weather permitting. Well, no, it will have to be done. Eek! And somewhere, where are my car keys? I'll probably find them just before I leave. Or 6 months from now. Oh, well, I certainly hope not. But while I'm painting the walls, digging the garden, clearing sheds, and wondering where on earth I've put things, 5 books have quietly been taking shape in my head. I began this week thinking I was doing a ridiculous number of different things. I'm ending up wondering whether they were quite so different after all. Missing keys, search conducted, spare keys located, breaking news, original keys discovered, exactly where they were left. They were sitting on the table, exactly where I left them. I had already looked on the table. My husband will find this very familiar. And somehow I failed to see them. No moral, just, they were there all along.
Thank you for joining me for the Plot Thickens. Until next time, keep noticing the stories that happen while the stories are happening.